by Austin. Plenty of room. Great return. Still rolling. Flag is down. Austin into the end zone. Touchdown.
This offseason, I talked all about how ridiculous the Mike Tomlin criticism was. The dude is a straight genius, and you just knew with Pittsburgh getting both Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, he was going to figure out a winning formula. But I don't think anyone expected the team to be this good. Like, they may very well be Super Bowl contenders, and even if you aren't ready to go there, they are at least good enough to make a run. They still have a dominant defense, they do all the little things right, including special teams, and the offense is slowly starting to become more consistent. They have found their recipe for success, and in this video, I want to break down everything. But before I begin, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind. We are on the road to 40,000 subscribers, and with your support, I believe we can get there super fast. Alright, so let's just get into some game film. I want to talk about what players stood out and some of the best plays from the night. So right here, simple ace formation, Najee Harris is out by himself in the backfield. One receiver out wide on each side of the line, Russ goes for a fake handoff and then rolls out right. With the defense playing for that run, there is absolutely no pressure on Russ at all. Not a defender within 5 yards. This is one of the easiest dump offs of his life to Calvin Austin, who also easily freed himself with a simple in and out route. This is such an efficient play, and the Steelers just run such a great offense for what they have. They clearly are not the most talented team out there, but as I always say, it's just a well-run organization. They play within themselves, they never try to do too much, they run to set up the pass, and they just wait and wait and wait until somebody makes a mistake and then they jump on it. Here in shotgun formation, this is going to be an actual handoff to Najee Harris, and this block from number 62 Ryan McCollum sets the whole thing up, because he made the quick adjustment from starting on the guy in front of him to the tackle to the right. And Najee did a great job of going left first, waiting for a hole to develop, and then cutting right. He definitely plays similar to a lesser version of Derrick Henry. He doesn't get those huge gains very often, but he just powered his way for about 10 yards. And these gains, as I mentioned, set up the play action. Now let's move on to some defense. We all know the Giants offense is not very good at the end of the day, but NFL talent is still NFL talent. Here, you got 5 guys on the line. I mean, TJ Watt is TJ Watt, he kind of just does whatever, but he is on the line. And watch this pursuit from number 50, Landon Roberts. He read this play like a book. He started the play at middle linebacker, but you could even just see from the beginning that he knew exactly what was going to happen. He motioned his guy to the right and started creeping, and then he instantly split the gap. And now he had a clear shot at both Jones and Tracy. But this is where it gets difficult. You literally have a fraction of a second to read who has the ball, but he did it in no problem. And then on third down, the Steelers spread out the defense, doing their best to not allow a big play. Sometimes on third downs, these little checkdowns can become huge gains, but everyone is quick to swarm the ball and make the tackle, forcing the Giants to settle for 3 points, which is something Pittsburgh is so good at, that bend but don't break mentality. And even though it isn't pretty sometimes, the Steelers just get things done. Some people call it the Steelers voodoo. Things do tend to go their way, like weird bounces, opposing teams collapsing, or a fumble on the goal line. But the reality is that the Steelers just bring a ton of intensity to the game, and really focus on the little things. They never take a play off, and throughout a season, that just causes the ball to bounce their way a few times. Anyways, in terms of Russell Wilson, he threw for 278 yards and a touchdown, with a passer rating of 115. Najee Harris had 114 yards in the backfield off 19 carries for an average of 6 yards per carry. So definitely one of his best games, and Warren had 46 yards on 9 carries. And these numbers alone show the growth of the offensive line that has been getting better and better every single week. This whole season really has been about Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. There was so much speculation at the beginning of the season about who the starter would be. Then we found out from Mike Tomlin it would be Russ, but then he got injured, which forced Fields to step into that role, and the Steelers got off to a hot start with him under center. But eventually, Russ was getting healthy again. And the question was, do you still give him a chance? And Tomlin eventually did, and after a few slow drives at first, fans were already chanting for Fields. It was a very weird situation, but now everything is starting to get settled down, and it seems like everyone on the team has a much clearer view of their roles, while still knowing that things can change week to week. Russell Wilson seems to really be buying into what the Steelers are selling. He was efficient, he was explosive. Arthur Smith was trying to go back to some of the concepts that made him so successful in Seattle. They stayed married to the run game and then built in the play action off that. And Russ was constantly on the move, allowing him to play fast with quicker reads that don't require him to hold on to the ball as long. In Denver, oftentimes, the problem was Wilson would take deeper drops, sit in the pocket, and take bad sacks, and now he's getting out on the edge or throwing off play action. And if the plays are not there, taking the check down or tucking it and running with it. And the result has of course been a pleasant surprise for the Steelers. Well, maybe I shouldn't say surprise, because Mike Tomlin always figures out a winning formula for the guys on his team. Wilson's second half downfield dimes to Calvin Austin for a touchdown and George Pickens to set up the Steelers' final points of the game were pivotal. And with that payoff, it reasoned that Wilson's investment into how the Steelers are trying to get him to play will only grow deeper. Here's what both Russ and Mike Tomlin had to say following the game.
I thought, the running backs did a really good job of running the ball too. The offensive line did a great job against a really good defensive line that they have. So it was a full team effort, and that was fun.
What can you say about guys like Calvin and Van and the big plays that they had tonight?
I'm not surprised. That's what I would say. They do it in practice every day. Their work ethic, they've been doing it since the summertime, since off-season and in the springtime. All the work that we were able to do in the off-season together in San Diego and all that. I mean, I know who they are, the competitors, the playmakers. Van's catch down the sideline was amazing. Giving him a chance down there. Calvin obviously made some great plays tonight, the touchdown. And GP really, he really had a great night. He had 2 touchdowns. Unfortunately got called back, but he was special tonight too. So I think it's the work ethic. The work ethic of those guys. They're putting all the work in every day. It's not a surprise when it shows up on the field, and I think that's the key part.
Man, really appreciative of our efforts. It wasn't as fluid as we'd like, man, but that's football. We got to guard against style points and things of that nature, man. It was prime time television and football against a team that came in here with a good mindset. We shot ourselves in the foot some early, man, settling for 3. We gave up a couple big plays that allowed them to generate some scoring drives. They kicked 3. But I just like the overall look of the group at halftime. We acknowledged where we were. We acknowledged we needed some plays, man, to break this thing open. And I had a bunch of guys that wanted to be the reason why we were successful.
It seems like all the guys are buying into this system. In all offseason, I talked about how important a hot start was for Pittsburgh because of how difficult the end of their schedule is. But now all of a sudden, it's really not as bad as we all thought. The Browns are 2-6, they look a little better now with Winston at QB, and the Bengals have been on the struggle bus from the jump. So an 11 or 12 win season really is looking pretty realistic right now, and the upcoming game against the Commanders is going to be a huge one. Jaden Daniels is really going to test this defense. He's been looking like a Lamar Jackson with a pinpoint accurate arm. And outside of that, in terms of recent news and rumors, I've heard some things about the possibility of Russ reuniting with his favorite target from Denver in Courtland Sutton. The Broncos are like 50-50 on letting him go right now, and earlier before the season, when the Steelers made the surprising move to let go of one of their top targets in Deontay Johnson, it felt like one more guy would really go a long way for this unit, especially in the playoffs. But let me know what you guys think. That's really all I got for this video. Thank you all so much if you made it to this point, and if you enjoyed and haven't yet, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe because your support really does mean the world. And also, let me know what you would like to see next, and until then, I will see you all later.